What's going on, everybody? Spunky Dice No One coming, guys. Another video. Come at you guys with my Eagles Giants Week 8 preview. So this is the second time we see this team in 2 weeks. You know, just crazy how we literally saw this team in Week 6, where they proceeded to hand us our asses, like absolutely hand us our asses on primetime football. So yeah, second time in 2 weeks we see this team. This time in Philadelphia at the Link. Yeah. There's a lot to say about this because I give the Giants their props. You know, they wanted that game last time around. Scatterboo and Jackson Dart, who I've said to, you know, Jackson Dart is their quarterback. I think the Giants have finally found their quarterback in Jackson Dart. You know, as much as I hate that it was against my team, I was very impressed by what I saw with him in that game, of course. And I'm like, unfortunately, Eagles fans, I think we have to come to the new reality that both Washington and the Giants now have their franchise quarterbacks. Now I know obviously with Washington, stuff is going on with Jaden Daniels. You know, he's gonna be out for a while, but yeah. Both of these teams appear now to have their guys, you know, at quarterback. But yeah, this to me, this game is personal, man. You know, I don't hate the Giants. I've never been one of those Eagles fans that hated the Giants. To me, they were always just a team that we saw twice a year that I wanted to beat. Now I know a lot of other Eagles fans feel differently. They passionately hate the New York Giants. To me, they just never been that team. Neither them or Washington. Like, both the Giants and Washington were just, like I said, two teams we saw twice a year. And obviously, I want to beat them when we play them, you know. The Cowboys, now the Dallas Cowboys, that's on a whole nother level. That is true hate. But I'm getting off the topic, right? So let me get back on topic. This game is very important to me, man, because we need to make a statement. We got absolutely embarrassed. Fair and square. Just want to put that out there. We got beat fair and square in that game. Yeah, there may have been a couple questionable things here and there, and obviously we know certain players got hurt. Jalen Carter was not playing that game. Quinyon Mitchell was not playing that game. So yeah, we had a couple things going on in that game, but the Giants, you know, they beat us fair and square. Jalen Hurts, you know, at MetLife Stadium in his career, it hasn't been pretty up to this point. He threw, you know, obviously he threw a big interception that late night. No, not late in the game, but yeah, in the game. But yeah, that was just not the Eagles' night. Now, Eagles, of course, got a big win against the Minnesota Vikings last Sunday. And speaking of the Vikings, they seem to be just the Vikings are a mess right now. But big win against the Vikings, where Jalen Hurts had a near perfect quarterback rating, you know, QBR. He was phenomenal in that game. You know, just tossing bombs downfield to AJ Brown, to Devontae Smith. He was phenomenal. We need more of that this week. Unfortunately, we got some news that AJ Brown will not be playing this game. He's dealing with a hamstring injury, and I'm like, okay, well, yeah, the Eagles have a bye week coming up after this. Let AJ get healthy because we need him for a big run in the second half of the season. But yeah, going into this game, to me, this is personal. The Eagles need to set a tone early in this game, and they need to be consistently, consistent throughout the game. Of course, we still have not yet. The running game still has not gotten there yet. I'm still not losing hope on that yet. You know, I know guys like, you know, Jurgens and Dickinson have been dealing with injuries, so that played a big part in it. But I expect as the season continues to unfold, the running game will get going. Now I'm gonna use reverse psychology in this video because it worked last week with the Vikings. I'm gonna do it for this week. I'm gonna pick the Giants to win this game, close game. 24-21, like a field goal late in the game, you know, obviously to win the game. That's what I have it right now. That's reverse psychology, but, you know, like I said, it worked against the Vikings last week. I'm gonna stick on the reverse psychology train for right now. But the Eagles are, you know, roster wise, we are the better team. yes, we have a couple of guys that are going to be out, but it's next man up mentality. We should go in here and beat these guys at home in Philadelphia. Because if we get swept by the Giants, that will be the most ultimate humiliation for me. Definitely don't want to get beat at home against the Giants. So let's take care of business. Now I was talking briefly about obviously AJ Brown not playing, but going over the entire injury report for this game. Here are the players that will be out. I said AJ Brown with a hamstring injury. Cornerback Jacorian Bennett will be out with a patellar injury. Brandon Graham, who we just brought back, this week. Welcome back, BG. He will not be playing this game. Obviously not injury related. Just I guess they're waiting for the second half of the season to bring BG on the field, so he will not be playing this game. Cam Jurgens is out, which is, like I said, O-line has just not been the same this year. They've been okay at times, just not as dominant as they were last year. So not having him is definitely a big loss. Edge rusher Azeez Ojulari is dealing with a hamstring injury as well. He is out. Questionable in this game will be wide receiver Darius Cooper. He's dealing with a shoulder injury. Looking at the New York Giants injury report here, out in this game will be cornerback Poston Odebo. The defensive lineman Chauncey Golston, he's dealing with a neck injury. Doubtful safety Javon Holler dealing with a knee injury. Questionable for the New York Giants is outside linebacker Brian Burns dealing with a hip injury. Defensive lineman DJ Davidson dealing with an ankle injury. And kicker Graham Gano is dealing with a hamstring. So that's the injury report going to this game. But for me, like I said, this game is personal. I want to beat this team really bad after being embarrassed by them. That was just the ultimate embarrassment. Scatterboo has been doing a whole lot of talking this week. Talking about Eagle fans, talking about talking about the players and stuff. AJ Brown commented on that. He commented on what he was saying. This one is personal for me. It's beyond personal. I don't want to just beat the New York Giants. I want to embarrass them like they did us. But at the end of the day, getting a W is the most important thing. Continuing this winning, continuing being on the winning track. Just get that win. The keys to victory are always the same, man. It starts up front. The big man up front starts in the trenches. Offensive line, defensive line, everybody got to do their job. Like I said, no BG will not be playing this game, but I know he will be on that sideline cheering those guys on. Those guys play harder for BG, and we need the defense to step up. Reed Blankenship, in Cooper DeJean, those guys in the secondary. Obviously, Quinyon Mitchell, Dory Jackson, and Keely Ringo. We need those guys in the secondary to have a much better performance this game than what they did last time around. I know those guys are motivated after what happened last time around. The pass rush has got to get there, man. Jordan Davis, Jalen Hunt, Nolan Smith, of course. Those big Moro Jomo, those big guys up front have got to get the pass rush. Got to get to Jackson Dart, because Jackson Dart had so much time to throw in that game last time around, and he absolutely picked this defense apart. We have got to get in his face, and we got to force the pressure on him early throughout. We cannot allow the running game for the Giants to get started with Scatterboo. Scatterboo ran for over 100 yards against the Eagles last time around. We have to contain Scatterboo. Scatterboo is the anchor of this offense. When they get him going, that opens up things in their passing game. The guys like Darius Slayton. So we gotta be on top of our game, because these guys, even though they're dealing with injuries themselves, they have some playmakers on that offense. Jalen Hyatt is another guy that we have to watch out for. Like I said earlier, Darius Slayton's another guy we have to watch out for. We have to make sure that we have these guys accounted for. So stop that running game. Defense, get that pressure on him. Zach Bond, the Kobe Dean. Those are other guys on the defense I didn't mention. But it has to be a team effort. Get this team off the field early and consistently throughout the game. Offensively, yeah, not having AJ Brown out there is a big loss. He had a very good game last time, against the Vikings. But Devontae will be out there. John Mechie, the third, John Mechie will be out there. Mechie will be out there, of course. Those guys have to step up. They have to step up their game, and they have to come to this game ready. Jahan Dotson, another guy that I didn't mention. But get the running game going early. We need to. I would love for this to be Saquon Barkley's first 100-yard game of the season against his former team in Philadelphia. So get that running game going early. That will open up things in the passing game to Mechie, Jahan Dotson, of course, Devontae Smith. This might be an opportunity where we could, guys like Mechie and Jahan Dotson will have their moment to shine because no AJ Brown. So of course now the number one target is going to be Devontae Smith. So he will take away attention from these guys. This is their opportunity to shine. But get the running game going, the play action pass, Dallas Goedert. That will open up things downfield in the passing game. So, like I said, I'm picking the Giants to win 24-21, but I'm using reverse psychology. So, hopefully, fingers crossed. Hopefully, these guys they show up and they're ready to ball. I'm not afraid of the New York Giants. For me, it's always been you don't know exactly what Philadelphia Eagles team is going to show up that week. So hopefully this team is motivated. They're pissed off after that last game against the Giants, and they show up ready to play. But everybody has to do their job. Every side of the field, every side of the ball has to do their job. That's offense, special teams, defense. Everybody has to do their job. Jake Elliott missed his first 42-yard field goal against the Vikings. His first field goal of the season he missed. Let's not make that consistent. You've been having a good year, Jake Elliott, so let's be consistent. But yeah, don't really have a whole lot more to say about this. Like I said, man, it's personal. I want to beat this team. I would love for us to embarrass them, but most important thing is getting that W and going to the bye week on a high note. We got, like I said, we got guys that are dealing with injuries, but those guys will be back for the second half of the season. And if we're gonna make a run, we need everybody healthy and ready to go. So I'm going to wrap this thing up. I don't really have a whole lot more to say. Let's just go out there and beat these New York Giants, split the season series, and let's be focused. Let's be ready for, let's be healthy and ready after the bye week. But as always, go Birds. Spunky Nights, no one's out of here. Flag will fly. Peace.
That's all, folks.